Hey people, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing good. So I just wanted to quickly catch up with you guys and then just share something that I was having a conversation about with some of my friends over the week. And this is that with all of these paparazzis going on in the tech scene today, particularly with AI, which company is going to be the most valuable company by 2035?
Imagine for a second that you could go back on time 10 years and that you would invest $1,000 in 10 different companies. Which companies would have given you the biggest return? Let's find out.
I'd like to hear your comments or your thoughts and let me know why you think so as well. But here is the company that I think will be the most valuable company by 2035.
Sabe? Let's have it.
Before I go into disclosing the nature of this company, I'd just like to do a high level of how the tech world works and the companies that are currently leading the charge as at today. So the top three most valuable companies in the world today are Microsoft, Nvidia, and Apple, with Microsoft and Nvidia coming at about 2.6 trillion USD, whilst Apple comes a little bit close at 2 trillion US dollars. So those are the top three most valuable companies in the world as at today, based on, of course, the solidity of their infrastructure, their technology, and how huge both at the enterprise and at the consumer level. All right, so why is this relevant for us to understand when we are talking about the most valuable tech company in the world by 2035? Before I also go into that, I would also talk about something just for the people who may not know. When you talk about technology, it can either be software or hardware. Software is everything that you cannot necessarily see or touch with your hand, but you can just feel and know that they are working. It's like when, the spirit is just moving and you can tell, you can't exactly feel it. That is software. So examples of software products are the games that you play and all the applications on your phone or the operating system that runs or powers your phone or your laptops. That's a software product. And then, as you can tell, hardware is a hard device. So your phone, the chips, your laptop, your AirPod, earbuds, all those things are hardware devices. So as you can tell, Apple makes a fortune from the sales of its hardware devices, and then Nvidia also makes a lot of money from the sales of its chips. So it's also a hardware company. And then you have Microsoft, that is primarily a software company. So it seems like hardware companies are taking the lead as at today. Now, in the AI scene, the conversation is a little bit different, even though two companies out of the three that I've mentioned still sort of retain their slots. How are they the most valuable AI companies? For the two of them, you can tell they've been in the game for a long time. Microsoft and Nvidia have been in the game for a long time. But there is a small yash that is shaking, a new entrant into the game that is giving them a run for their money. And I dare say that this new entrant actually redefined the face of, or the way that AI is now being looked at in the last 5 years. They say some call it the new generation of artificial intelligence, and that is a company that sort of opened up the consumer side of artificial intelligence and
dropped what might just be the biggest bombshell in consumer technology since the iPhone itself.
that's something very wonderful. Now, these other companies, Microsoft, Nvidia, valued as beautiful, right? But there is this new entrant, this small guy that is a private company. Mind you, Microsoft and Nvidia are publicly listed companies, which means that they are public companies essentially, whilst the third guy is a private company, and this third guy is valued at over 300 billion US dollars. Private company. Now,
we are talking, guys, about a $6.5 billion acquisition of Jony Ive's startup.
And yeah, by now, I think it's almost apparent the company I'm talking about. But before I talk about them, I will just also say that at the moment, the AI space is dominated by one major drive, as we can already see it, and that is the need for more software products, right, being built. And obviously at the commercial level, what you typically would have is you have a lot of software running on an infrastructure that requires a lot of hardware. And what I'm saying by that is you have the cloud powering practically everything that happens in tech science today, but the cloud technology is powered by a data center that has a lot of hardware where it is stored, and that's how the game is played. But what a lot of people see, especially at the consumer level and even largely at the enterprise level, is the software. Now, this company is already at the bedrock of a lot of the AI tools, AI products that we have today, and it is none other than...
I think we have the opportunity here to kind of completely reimagine what it means to use a computer.
Was a major one. I think this one is going to be revolutionary.
Now, OpenAI is leading the pack today, and I think they will be the most valuable company in the next 10 years for the following three reasons. Number one, OpenAI is, and this is the most exciting thing for me,
Altman and Johnny Ive, the man who helped Apple design many of its most iconic products, including the iPhone, teaming up on what they hope will be the next generation of devices.
OpenAI is partnering with Johnny Ive. Johnny Ive was the guy behind all of the illustrious designs that Steve Jobs and Apple were able to make in the...
And plans for a completely screen-free AI device and ambitions to ship 100 million units right out of the gate.
Now, this guy believes that the hardware that we have today is not sufficient to power the AI technology of the now and the future. So it's partnering together with OpenAI in a $6 billion USD deal to build a hardware that will power the AI technology of the future. And what this device is going to be with...
According to some leaked information from an internal OpenAI staff meeting, this thing is going to be completely screen-free, pocket-sized, and contextually aware of everything around you. Sam Altman described it to his team as an AI companion that will be aware of its surroundings and can either fit in your pocket or sit on your desk.
Know that when Johnny Ive goes into the kitchen, the guy cooks.
We are sitting at the beginning.
Has led me to this place and to this moment.
And so I'm excited and looking forward to what that would be. But here's the interesting thing about that. What it means is that with OpenAI's leadership in the software end of things as an infrastructure that powers a lot of the AI product and tools that we have today, when you merge that with the hardware business and the first mover advantage that OpenAI is going to have in the scene, then you can almost tell that this is going to be something very powerful. What I would simply mean is that you will have an iPhone, the first of its kind, taking away BlackBerry, Nokia, and all of these guys away from the market, with a Google Android OS powering it, right? So you have two very powerful tools being run by one company, and that's going to be one of the most powerful things that OpenAI will be doing in about 2 years or by next year when this device comes out. And I think that is going to really propel the valuation of the company to over the roof. Now, that's the first thing. The second thing is what I've already mentioned, which is that in the consumer market today, OpenAI has a very high or huge leadership. Now, if you take that leadership and you just add it into the new product that they want to launch, obviously you can guess that OpenAI is going to have huge sellouts, when this product is launched. And if they can continue on that trend to hold on to that leadership, it's just a matter of time before we hit the 10-year mark and it becomes one of the most, if not the most valuable company in the world. Now, the third point, which is quite the most curious part for me, is that a lot of the legacy companies are not doing enough to demonstrate their intent to hold on to the leadership in this new race. And I think that's quite normal that, leadership changes from time to time. At some point, it was the IBMs, the HP, the AT&Ts of this world. And now we have, the Apple, the Microsoft, and I am here projecting that OpenAI is going to, take over at some point, right? I think that's quite normal. But what I feel is that these companies have become too big that it's a bit difficult for them to zoom in on what is really going on in the AI scene and do something really spectacular. Of course, that is with the exception of Microsoft. I think Microsoft is doing fairly well. Satya, big ups to Satya, what he's been doing with Microsoft, particularly the partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI. But otherwise, I don't think that legacy companies are doing enough. And I think that this is going to prime OpenAI even more to take advantage of that and do something really fantastic in that scene. And that's my bet, and that's why I think that's the third reason I think that OpenAI is definitely going to be the most valuable company, most likely the most valuable company by 2035. And because of these three key things, I'm betting my passion on this. So let me know what you think about this. Do you think that this is overexcitement, or do you think that this is a huge possibility? I'd like to know your thoughts, so let me hear them. Cheers. Bye.